Sup, guys? So, you may not know this about me, but I'm a huge Detroit Lions fan, and so I was going to do a road to the Super Bowl, or I guess road to a playoff win will be our version. I'm going to be going through the season and saying in a realistic but optimistic chance what our season could be like. Maybe I'll do a worst case scenario for some pessimistic people that want to see this. But I'm thinking optimistic scenario, which just incorporates essentially three things: that the draft fixed our run game, that Stafford and Golden Tate and everyone stays healthy, and that our D line, which is kind of weak, manages to hold itself together. Maybe Anza has a good season or someone steps up. I think it's pretty obvious that if the run game works out and our defense holds together, that it will be a more offense-driven team because as much as our secondary is good, I don't see our D-line or our linebackers becoming excellent and becoming, top, 10 units in the league. Maybe they'll surprise us. We don't know. So starting off, week one, we have the Jets. Not a terrifying team. I think Teddy Bridgewater will be back, so it might be a big thing for him, but I think it's safe to put the W here. Either way, not a very scary team. Not too worried about that. All right, and it's at home. So I think regardless of how we're playing, we should be able to pick up that win. All right, so then at the 49ers, that's a little more tricky. But I think they heavily relied on Garoppolo, which is a rookie. He's played a few weeks, so now we have footage on him, and our secondary is especially good. So I think that, Darius Slay and Quinn can shake him up a little bit, and maybe, and this is again optimistically, it'll be a close game, and I could give it a 50-50, but I'm going to give us the win here. All right, I'm going to give a loss to the Patriots. I don't think I have to really explain that. I'm trying to keep this video a little short for people. So at Dallas, as much as I think I'm optimistic, they'll have Zeke back, which will tear up our D-line. We were never good at run defense. And, the Browns ran, I think, over 100 rushing just from the running backs. And then Kaiser gave another 60 on that, way back. And that was the Browns. The 0-16 Browns did that to us and made it close. I think with Zeke, the Cowboys would be a little too much, especially at Dallas. I'm going to take the win at home against the Packers because I just don't like the Packers and I will never admit to losing to them. And that is a good reason to do that. We get a bye week, so we'll be fresh on that week coming in at Miami, which again, I think is a safe W. I don't see them as a big contender, so I'm not too worried. The Seahawks at home, don't think I need to explain this. They lost so many people. It'll be at Ford Field. They basically have just Russell Wilson. Unless they have a total meltdown, I think the Vikings will continue to be very good and kind of tear up the field. So I'm good with that. Again, this is an optimistic scenario. I'm assuming the Bears are still not going to be very good. I think either way, even the pessimistic scenario, we might pick up the win here, but yeah, not too scary. And so the Panthers, I had a hard time deciding which way to go with this. It is at home, but historically we have not played good against the Panthers. They have McAfee, who's a good running back, who again I think might run all over us. And I could really go either way, like I went 50-50 with at the Niners. So I'm ultimately going to give this one the L, and I'm going to say that because, again, I think the Panthers are a better team than the Niners are, but we're probably going to win one of those games, lose one of those games, and, I don't know, like a perfect record at home other than the Patriots, it doesn't really sound right up to this point, and so I'm going to just have to say the Panthers take it. Bears again, don't think that's surprising that's at home. If we're beating them away, I think we're going to sweep them at home. It's not too hard. Again, Rams, knowing what we know now, I think it's very unlikely that we pull out a win there. And we also do kind of melt down the track, so I'm not expecting us to play our best games towards the end of the season. At Cardinals, and not too scary. Their quarterback situation is really up in the air. Bradford might get replaced by, I think it's Josh Allen. Could have done that wrong, though. But, yeah, not too scary. There's another game I could go 50-50 on with the Bills because it is at Buffalo. But again, not a great team. I guess they made the playoffs, but I don't see them as maybe the scary force that maybe other people see them. Again, I think we could pick up, in this optimistic scenario, I think we could edge out a win, especially if Matt Patricia teaches the Lions to be a little more consistent in their play. And now with the Vikings, I'm going to give us the win at home against Minnesota. I think we can split with them just again because I think that a Kirk Cousins offense is pretty good, but I don't think he's played the level of secondary that we're at. I think we can just edge them out, especially at home, splitting it with them. And then, yeah, not to call me a hater, I know we've won in Lambeau several times recently, but there's a reason there's a streak of us losing in Lambeau, especially when Aaron Rodgers starts the whole game. So if Aaron Rodgers is still healthy by this point, I don't know if we'll win the last game. Usually, funny enough, although I don't think it'll happen this year, in our division, it always does seem to, except for last year, I guess. The last week is always between the two divisional leaders. At least it was for several years in a row. I remember the Bears, Packers, and I think it was Packers Lions, and I think it was Packers Vikings twice maybe. I can't totally remember, but I don't know if that's really going to be the case. I would think that we'd finish 10-6. Don't know if we'd win the division though. I think there's a good chance that either the Packers or the Vikings would win, and then our division might send two people to the wild card, similar to the NFC South did this year. Again, this is an optimistic scenario because I think if the Lions can get it together, it'd be very easy for the Packers or the Vikings to keep their shit together. So I think if we actually do pull out, there's a chance we'll steal the wild card spot from, say, probably one of the NFC South teams. So this is our record. This would leave us at 10-6. Again, I would see this as the most optimistic scenario.